Hey folks, welcome to today's Study Trader YouTube Live. The question today I'm going to try to answer is how important are broker commissions? And the short answer is it depends. But let me start off with a bit of a story. When I was about, I think I must have been 10 or maybe 9 years old, I started to play golf, and I remember vividly hitting balls on the driving range. And this guy came on the driving range and he had brand new equipment. He looked like a pro. He dressed like a pro. I mean, I don't know what his outfit must have cost, I don't know, a lot of money. And I noticed that he put his ball, his clubs and everything, and he took the bucket of balls and put it on a little mound. There was a little mound right behind me where he was hitting these balls. Well, after, I don't know, it felt like a half an hour, it might have been just 20 minutes or so, I turned around and that entire mound that he was hitting balls on was gone and just moved to the front because he chunked all these shots. So he never played golf, is what I'm trying to tell you before, to sort of make a long story short. It was really funny because in front of him, like, 5, 6, 7 feet out, there was this big pile of dirt because he had never, he'd mishit every shot and he'd never played golf before. This is very much the way I feel about commission. I get a lot of people asking us about commission. And I think a lot of people make way too big a deal of commission. What they're trying to do, they're new at trading, or even people who've done it for some time, instead of focusing on actually learning a good strategy that works, what they do instead is just try to focus on getting the best gadgets, right? Or worrying way too much about broker commission. I'm not saying broker commission is not important, but I will tell you, the more you focus and actually learn a strategy and focus on, the sort of the statistics at bat, if you will, the less the broker commission will get, right? So this goes back to something I mentioned about yesterday or the day before in the video. I can't remember what day it was, but I talked about, not worrying too much about getting too many gadgets. I think just get a good broker platform. There's so many of them out there, but really more importantly, focus on a good strategy. Now, let me show you guys, there's one specific strategy I want to quickly highlight today, and we're going to be doing a special webinar on this next week. I'll announce it more next week, but it's a strategy that we use every single day to generate cash flow, or you can look at it as income as well, and it's called the open gap strategy. Let me give you just a quick glimpse at this, and I'm going to try to turn the camera around. And what you can see here is this is a stock, happens to be Chipotle Mexican Grill. And you can see that the stock opened, this is an intraday chart, 5-minute chart. The stock closed here on day X, and on day Y, it opened up here. Well, this so-called gap in the middle here, you can see this is a gap. I'm going to quickly fill it in with a little bit of a blue sort of marker. You can see how that gap started to fill and filled by about, looks like about an hour and a half, 2 hours into the trading day, about an hour and a half in. This is called a gap fill trade, and what you can do when a stock gap's higher like that is you can fade it for a trade to the downside and generate cash flow, and vice versa. If a stock gap's lower, you would play it back to the upside. Now, there's a very specific way in which we need to do that, though, and I will discuss that more next week. We can do a special webinar on this next week, so stay tuned. I'll show you guys how you can set up on that next week. But that's it for me for right now for this week. Have a wonderful weekend. Any questions, comments, just leave them down below. Take care. I'll see you next week.